Hello students, welcome to StudyIQ. So we will continue our discussion on World Bank. We just started off with the discussion on World Bank, and I've told you in this session I'll talk about the World Bank group. Okay, so this session is all about World Bank group. Okay, so World Bank group. Okay, so it actually constitute of 5 institutions. What are they? First of all, IBRD. We have discussed about IBRD, and I've told you when we talk about World Bank, one more institution is there, that is actually IDA. So basically these two together is what we call as World Bank. Okay, so International Development Association. So this two we have already discussed in the previous session, and now 3 more are left out. What is that? IFC we will discuss here today, and then we will have to discuss about ICSID. Okay, and then we will talk about MIGA. So these are the 5 institutions that we need to discuss. We will discuss all these. Now if you remember, if you go for a quick recap of what all things that we have discussed in the previous session, we basically talked about IBRD, right? So we discussed about a conference in 1944 in Bretton Woods. Okay, so Bretton Woods conference in 1944 in USA. So this is basically Bretton Woods twins, both IMF and IBRD. Okay, so in that conference actually what is that conference? UN Monetary and Financial Conference. Okay, UN Monetary and Financial Conference. Okay, so UN Monetary and Financial Conference, which was held in Bretton Woods in 1944. There was a proposal for 3 institutions. First one was IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD. Okay, then second one it was IMF. Okay, then ITO, International Trade Organization. But I've told you these 2 were established. Third one, ITO, International Trade Organization. Instead of this, there was a GATT. Okay, so in 1947, 43 members met and they signed an agreement on General Agreement on Trade and Tariff. Okay, tariffs and trade, and GATT came into operational from 1948 to deal with trade. So this was never come into existence. Instead, GATT was there, and in 1995 onwards, it became WTO. Okay, and we have already completed those discussions, WTO and everything we have completed. So this too, actually, this is the Bretton Woods twins. So when it was established, when we talk about IBRD, it was established in 1944 and operational in 1946. When we talked about IMF, it was established in 1945 and came into effect or operational from 1947. And I've told you membership of IMF is actually necessary for the membership of IBRD, but there may be some exceptions also. And we have seen the number of member countries and the headquarter, president, etc. Right? So what we have discussed is, where is the headquarter of World Bank or IBRD? Washington DC. In case of IMF also it is the same. So Washington DC. How many members are there? 189 members. In case of IMF also 189 members. Now who's the head of World Bank? It is a president, right? And we have also discussed about the structure, the board of governors, board of directors, all those concepts we have discussed, but here I'm only talking about president. So when we talk about IMF, it is managing director, and I've told you the president of World Bank will be always from US and the managing director of IMF will be always from Europe. Okay, when we discussed about objectives of IBRD, we have discussed the first and most important objective was basically reconstruction of war affected countries. Okay, reconstruction of war affected countries. Okay, especially that Second World War. So reconstruction of war affected countries. Then basically second objective that we discussed is to promote development. Okay, to promote development. Okay, increase standard of living in developing countries, etc. Then we have discussed about elimination of poverty. So elimination of poverty, and also we have discussed about promote investment. Okay, so promote investment in developing countries by providing finance, technical assistance, etc. and also provide finance to developmental projects Okay, so and we have also talked about the World Bank study on MGNREGA, and according to the study, the food inflation in India is because of MGNREGA, and in fact it was considered as a positive thing because it helped in removing hunger. Okay, and World Bank in fact suggested some other countries also to implement program like that. Okay, so all those things we have discussed, so I'm not getting into that details now. If you missed out that video, you can actually watch here. This is my Telegram channel. You'll get all my videos over there. Zia Safir, or you can get in touch with me in the Instagram ID. You can get all my videos over there. If you need to write test or any mentorship or guidance, if you need related to civil service preparation, if you are optional sociology or GS also, you'll get all my videos over there. Economy, I've done around hundreds of videos. History also hundreds of videos are there. Sociology also, the series is going on. Okay, ethics, quantitative aptitude, you'll get my videos. So all these are available. If you need any help, you can get in touch with me here. Okay. Apart from this, what we have discussed, IBRD actually provide long-term finances like 25 to 30 years at a very concessional interest. Okay, so all these we have discussed. We have also discussed about the source of fund. Source of fund, the first source is actually the share capital, right? Share capital subscribed by member countries. Now then, when we discuss about India's share in world GDP and India's share in world trade, I've told you why we need to have better share in world trade and world GDP is because the share capital or your quota, share, etc. of World Bank and IMF is actually decided by your share on world GDP and share in world trade. Okay, so in that context, that is important. So here the share in World Bank, quota, share, voting, everything is actually decided on the basis of your share or contribution in world GDP and world trade. Now here share capital means, let's suppose $100 million is your share capital. You don't want to pay entire 100 million, unlike in the case of IMF. Here the 80% you don't want to pay. 80% is actually payable on demand. So you need to pay 2% in gold or foreign currencies. Okay, gold or foreign currencies, 2% you pay, and 18% you pay in your domestic currency. So in case of India, you pay in domestic currency. So 18 million you pay in domestic currency, 2 million you pay in gold or foreign currency. Then rest of the 80%, this is payable on demand. If the situation arises, if it is demanded from you, then only you need to pay. So the entire share capital you actually don't want to pay. And the main source of raising fund for IBRD is actually issue of bonds. Okay, so basically IBRD issue bonds in the international financial markets, and who will buy the bonds? The financial institutions will buy the bonds, and this is the main source of raising fund for IBRD. And when we discussed about voting, so what was the voting? Voting is like this: there will be basic vote, okay, and then one vote for each share, one vote for each share. So it all depends on the share your voting will increase. See, when we say USA is having 17% voting, means share capital is there. So in IBRD, share capital of US is actually 17%. So almost 17% voting is with US. Okay, why? Because one vote for each share you're getting. And what is one share? $1 lakh is one share. Okay, so basic votes, how many votes are there? 250 basic votes are there, plus depends on your share. For example, if India is having, let's say 500 lakh dollar, okay, $500 lakh means what is the voting share of India? 250 basic vote plus this for each lakh one share, so 500, right? So 750 will be the case of India. Similarly, it all depends on the share. If more the share, your voting will increase. This will remain the same. So I have told you that demand for developing countries or the poor countries is basically to increase the basic votes, because their share capital will be less, and more the share capital, more voting you will get. So you can see here, this can be increased like anything, right? Even irrespective of this, you can increase the share capital. So the demand for developing countries is basically to increase the basic vote. Okay, the reasons, the debates and everything we have discussed in the previous session, so I'm not getting into that because our objective is to discuss that 5 organization. Now one more thing, we have discussed about the structure. So there will be a president in case of World Bank, and then we have talked about board of governors, and I've told you the each country should send 2 representatives, right? So 2 representatives will be there from each country. So from India, the governor here will be the ex the ex officio governor here will be the finance minister, and the deputy governor or the alternate governor will be the governor of RBI. So RBI governor. So I have told you, don't be confused here. So when your country is representing the IBRD, the deputy governor from your side, so from your country there will be a governor and alternate governor. Deputy governor will be the RBI governor. The governor will be the finance minister. Ex officio governor will be the finance minister. Okay, so what is this governor and deputy governor? This is actually represented from the country. So every country have to send a governor and a deputy governor. And the governor, if you see in India's case, it is a ex officio governor will be finance minister, always finance minister, and deputy governor or assisting the finance minister is actually RBI governor. Okay, so make it clear that don't be confused who's representing in India. Don't just tell that it is RBI governor. Mainly finance minister, and then the deputy governor is actually RBI governor. Okay, then there will be board of executive directors. Board of executive directors, we have discussed it. There are 24 directors. 24 are there, out of which 19 elected and 5 nominated by 5 largest quota holders. So the demand is actually everything has to be elected. Okay, so out of this 24 to be elected. So this 5 is actually nominated by the largest quota holder like US, etc. So that's what we have discussed, and we have also talked about the World Bank publications like ease of doing business. In fact, that was asked as a prelims question. At least every year they used to ask some report and publications, right? So ease of doing business, global economic prospect, okay, global findex database, okay, and then logistic price index, ease of doing business. So I am expecting that you will be writing it down because we have already discussed this. So I am writing it short here. So ease of doing business, etc. Okay, so these are the publications. Now we will move on to today's discussion. So I have told you, when we talk about World Bank Group, there are 5 institutions. Okay, so IBRD, briefly we talked about this. Then IDA, okay, that is International Development Association. Then we have IFC, okay, then we have ICSID. We will discuss all these one by one. Then MIGA, MIGA, okay. So we will start with the IBRD. We have already discussed International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Okay, so it lends to middle income and credit worthy low income countries. Okay, so lends to middle income and credit worthy low income countries. Okay, so actually it lends to middle income, and in case low income country, the country has to be credit worthy. That means IBRD won't lend to the least developed countries. Okay, so from where least developed countries will get loan? That is from IDA. We will discuss that when we discuss about IDA. So understand here, IBRD won't lend to LDC. IBRD lend to the middle income countries and credit worthy low income countries. Now what are the 3 categories actually according to W Bank? Low income, and then middle income, high income. Now where India will stand here? India will stand here, if you divide middle income into 2, then lower middle income and upper or higher middle income, and in this India will stand here, lower middle income category. So we get loan from IBRD, okay, lower middle income category, and if it is low income, those countries has to be credit worthy. So credit worthy low income countries. So if the question is about will IBRD lend to low income countries? Yes, but credit worthy low income countries. Will IBRD lend to LDCs, least developed countries? No. From where they get it? From IDC. We will discuss that. Okay, not IDC, IDA. So now what is so how it is decided? Actually it is based on GDP per capita. We have discussed this before, that's why I'm not getting into the details. GDP per capita at market price or purchasing power. So if you have any confusion with respect to market price, purchasing power, etc., you please go and watch that video. Purchasing power, parity, etc., we have done in a beautiful way. You get all the videos in the Telegram channel. You just search Zia Safir. Okay, you'll get all my videos over there. So GDP per capita at market price, okay, market exchange rate here, not PPP rate, okay. So that is why if it is PPP, we would have been slightly more better. We would have come like upper middle income category if it is PPP. So once you attend the class, you will understand why and everything. Here we have very limited time, so I'm going with this, okay. Now next one. So I hope you understood the IBRD will lend to middle income and credit-worthy low income countries. So not to LDCs. Now what about IDA, International Development Association? International Development Association. When it was established, you need to know the years also, because they can ask you in arranging in chronological order. So it was established in 1960. When we talked about IBRD, I've told you 1944 and 46 it came to be operational. So here it is 1960. It is actually known as soft loan window of World Bank, okay. Soft loan window of World Bank. So it provides soft loans. What do you mean by soft loans? Concessional interest or zero interest, okay. So it provides loans at concessional or zero interest, and grants also, grants. So loans at concessional or zero interest and grants to whom? I've told you before, LDCs or most vulnerable countries. They cannot get it from IBRD. So here IDA will provide loans at a concessional or zero interest or even grants to LDCs or most vulnerable countries. Okay, so it doesn't matter if LDC is the low income country, whether it is credit worthy country or not, it doesn't matter. IDA will give loan. But in case of low income country, if you need to get loan from IBRD, you need to be a credit worthy country. Okay, so here you will get loan. So that's why IBRD won't give loan to LDCs, but IDA will give loan to LDCs. Why it is soft loan window? Because loans at a very concessional interest rate, zero interest rate for the most vulnerable sections, most vulnerable countries. Okay, then what is the connection between IBRD and IDA? The staff, president, building, etc. of IBRD and IDA is the same. Same building, same president, same staff, all are same. Okay, so that is why I've told you IBRD and IDA together we understood as a WB, World Bank. Okay, effectively IBRD only, there is a main organization, but these two together is what we call as World Bank. Even if you say IBRD as World Bank, it's okay, but technically these two together is World Bank. Both are in the same building, same president, same staff members, everybody is actually same, everything is same. So this will give, IDA give very long-term loans like 25 to 38 years, long-term loans. Okay, so that's about IDA, International Development Association. Now what about India? India actually graduated out from IDA in 2014. Okay, so India graduated out from IDA in 2014. The reason is actually the per capita income is actually increased. Okay, so India's per capita income is actually increased. IDA basically give loan to most vulnerable LDC. So our per capita income is increased. It's actually a positive sign. So we won't get loans from IDA anymore. But you know, as a transitional arrangement, we got loans from IDA till 2017. So what I want to tell you is now we won't get loan from IDA because we graduated out of IDA. Okay, because we are no more LDC and we won't get loan from International Development Association. So we can get from IBRD and we get from IBRD. Okay, and we are in fact the largest borrower also. So next one, International Finance Corporation, IFC, International Finance Corporation, IFC. So it was established in 1956, popularly known as private sector arm of World Bank. Okay, so 1956, known as private sector arm of World Bank. So what is the slogan of IFC? Slogan of IFC: creating opportunities where it is needed the most. Okay, so creating opportunities where it is needed the most. Okay, so basically what is the function? It provides finance and technical assistance to private enterprises. It provides finance and technical assistance to private enterprises in member countries, especially developing countries, without government guarantees. Okay, enterprises in member countries, especially developing countries without government guarantees. Okay, so it is actually the private sector arm of World Bank. So it provides financial as well as technical assistance to private enterprises in member countries, especially the developing countries, even without government security. So the slogan is creating opportunities where it is needed the most. This was actually asked as a prelims question before. Okay, so it basically lends on commercial interest, normal interest. Okay, and it also, so commercial interest, and it also issue bonds to raise fund. Issue bonds to raise funds, and it issues Masala Bonds, and in fact this was actually asked as a prelims question in 2016 and mains question also it was asked once. Okay, so it basically issue Masala Bonds. So it actually helped the Indian companies to borrow. Okay, so helped Indian companies to borrow. These are, what are Masala Bonds? These are rupee denominated bonds issued abroad. Okay, so Masala Bonds are basically rupee denominated or dominated bond issued abroad. Okay, so it actually helped Indian companies to borrow in rupee in 2015. So you can see this question was asked in 2016. So IFC, the International Finance Corporation, actually sold the bonds and raised funds for India's private company. Okay, so that's what Masala Bonds. Okay, now what is the advantage of rupee dominated bond? It actually prevent you from exchange rate fluctuations. If it is denominated and if it is dominated in rupee, it prevent exchange rate fluctuations. So that is good for the company. So exchange rate risk is not there. Okay, so Masala Bond was asked as a question, that's why I have discussed it here. So basically what you need to know is IDA issue bonds to raise funds on behalf of the private sector, the private companies. Okay, next is ICSID, so International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. Okay, so it was established in 1966. Okay, so it provides arbitration facility. Basically it provides arbitration facility for settlement of dispute between foreign firms and government. So arbitration facility between foreign firms and government. Okay, so basically to dispute settlement. Okay, we already discussed about different dispute settlements and appellate authority, etc. when we discussed about WTO. So it will, what is the advantage of this? The objective or the advantage is basically to promote FDI, right? So foreign firms investment will be promoted if this is there. So it will basically promote FDI, but India signed or not? India is a member or not? India is not a member. Okay, so it basically promote FDI. Okay, so India is basically not a member. So you need to remember this. India is not a member of this organization. Next one, MIGA, MIGA, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. Okay, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. So it was established in 1988, popularly known as insurance wing of World Bank. So one, we have discussed about soft loan window, then private sector, okay, then related to this arbitration facility, then related to insurance. Okay, so Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, so it's a insurance wing of World Bank. Insurance wing of World Bank. So what is it doing? It is actually providing guarantee or insurance to foreign investors against non-commercial risk. Foreign firms, foreign investors against non-commercial risk like breach of contract, civil disturbance, war, etc. Okay, so non-commercial risk, breach of contract, civil disturbance, war, etc. So here also it basically seek to promote FDI in developing countries. So objective is basically to promote FDI in developing countries. Now, if you talk about India and World Bank, so you will get this question in prelims as well as especially in mains, India and World Bank. So India is actually a founder member. So India is a founder member. Okay, India is the largest borrower. Okay, so in 1955, actually World Bank assisted government to establish ICICI Limited. So in 1955, ICICI Limited actually established, with the assistance of World Bank. Okay, and then funding a lot of developmental programs of center and state. Funding developmental programs of center and state, and ease of doing business, etc. we have discussed before. So India and World Bank, if you see the connection, and we are the largest borrower, especially this is a very important point, founder member. And ICICI Limited, when it was established, World Bank, it was established with the assistance of World Bank. Okay, and various developmental programs of center and state. So that's about the session. I hope you understood everything that we have discussed today. If you have any doubt in any of the videos that we have discussed so far, you can get in touch with me here. That's my Instagram ID. Okay, or you can join the Telegram channel. You will get all my videos over there. Everything is there. Or you can see here, this is the Telegram channel, or this is the Instagram ID. These two are my Facebook page. You can get in touch with me in any of this. If you want to learn economy with me or history with me or general studies, any subjects, you can, if you need regular classes, you can get in touch with me, or the online classes are available with StudyIQ. You will get all those classes. Still, you will get my YouTube videos in this Telegram channel. Okay. So I hope you understood everything that we have discussed. So see you guys. Thank you.